No, are we live? Seem to be. Yes, we are live. So, hello guys, welcome back to another stream. So, remember yesterday we did a snake game? We have brought to you another game, which is probably one of the most popular games worldwide, that is Minesweeper. So, in today's stream, we'll be building Minesweeper from HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So, let me give you a quick demo on what we will be building, right? So, so that is it for today's stream. So that is what we are doing, right? Um, so yeah, hold up. I want to see if my voice is audible, and we are not. Okay, so we are audible. Okay, so let's go ahead and start building this. Okay, so I'm just going to pop out my chat. Give me a second, guys. And yeah, that should be it, guys. Mm, okay, so yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and start building this. So I'm just going to give you a quick demo. So there we go. Oops, okay, one more. There we go. I don't know how to play this. Can you also flag it? You know how you would do in, I kind of click it in your normal Minesweeper. Okay, there we go. Okay, so that is it for today's stream. So let's go ahead and start building this. Okay, so I'm here in our coding labs, just like yesterday. I'm gonna name this project Minesweeper, right? I'm gonna save this project so that I can come back to this later. So if I save this, right, it will be listed or it'll be saved to my account. So I'm just gonna show you later if I can, okay? So here we have HTML. So that is how you make boilerplate for HTML. So I have to have a couple of things for today's stream, right? The first thing is we'll go through like this. We'll do HTML first, and we'll do CSS because most of the things on this is JavaScript. So we'll be probably spending a lot less time on HTML and CSS. So we'll just do uh, like that. So we can just create a div here. So we can just do that and give a class of game card, right? So this will be the actual um, game card. So in between, right, between this body, you see this small game. That is the game card div, right? And now we have the status bar. So we'll just do div ID. And if you want the link to the code, it'll be down in the description box below. So yeah, we'll do status bar, right? So this will be the status bar container. So it will have three things. One is the mine count. Status bar, I mean these two things. One is button, two status bar, right? So I'm just going to first create a div. So it'll just be a div with the ID of mine count. And just start this off by 110. And you can also see that it is getting reflected real time on the thing. You can also do full screen to make sure it's full screen. Now next is buttons. So I'm just going to create a button tag, which will have a smiley face emoji. So you can either Google it, or you can Google smiley face. If I go control and just search of smiley face icon, right? You can just get any one of these icons and it should be fine. Okay, so let's go ahead. So this will be our restart button. So we need to fetch this with our JavaScript. So I'm going to give it an ID of restart button like this. I'm going to copy this right here. So this will be the timer. So I'm just going to copy timer. There we go. So I forgot the starting anchor tag right there. I'm going to start this off by 000. So that is our status bar container, right? Now, next thing that we have to do is to create the board frame, so actual board, right? So this will be the outer frame or outer container for all of the boards. So we'll just do div here, right? Outside this, we'll do a div, right? So here I can just do a div. So we'll just do, so did I mess up somewhere? We'll make a div here. Slash div. So inside this, what I need to do is give an ID of board frame, right? An ID board frame. I'm just gonna save. You can also save this. I'm gonna restart. I think my emits are now working. Or did I mess up somewhere here? Oh, I did. There we go. So after the board, what I can do is just do div, and this will be empty container. The reason why it will be empty container is we'll be using JavaScript, or just we're iterating over the thing, and we'll be filling up with all of those grids as we did for yesterday when you make the Say Snake game, right? And here what we'll do is just name it board, and this will be a empty container. Now what we have is the message. So we'll use the paragraph tag because it will be the small message saying like lost or like you won or something like that. So we'll just do message. The next thing we have is same paragraph tag. And this will basically be game instructions like this one right here, right? So it will be that. So to make that, what I need to do is that div. So I'm just going to put it there. So it will be a paragraph tag, right? Very, very simple. It will have a class of hint and will be content of this. So we'll say reveal click, left click to reveal click, or right click to flag. So this is all the HTML that we have to write. Very, very simple. So one thing cool about our website is don't have to link your CSS and JavaScript. It's already pre-linked. So you can just go to CSS and start writing CSS. So the first thing that I want to do is do box sizing, set that to border box, right? Next thing I can call the body. Here we'll have background color. So basically be the background color of the entire thing. So it will be kind of greenish color. So we'll just do like same color right here. We'll just do add 0, 0, and we'll do 80 and 80. So that is the color that we'll be using. Next thing that we have is font family. So font family, we'll use these pre-built font family. So the first priority will be Tahoma. If that fails by somehow, we'll use Arial. If that's not available. And next, the last will be sans serif. So we'll do sans serif, right? Next thing that we have is text align. So the all the text will be aligned to center like that. And then we'll do display, set that to flex. So if I do that, it will come back to it, but we can change it because we made the flex box. That's why I did like that. So we can just do align item center and justify content to center. There we go. Next thing that we can do is set the height to 100 vh. 100 vh basically stands for 100 view height. So entire view height right here. So this much height will be 100. So yeah, so that will be 100% of that, right? We'll do margin, set that to 0. The default margin, we have set that to 0, right? Now the next thing that we had to do is raised, right? So in the board, right? We want to make it so that the board looks a little raised, right? Now, the thing about this is we will be using or we'll be making this in the other board, right? When we actually make the board from JavaScript, right? So we'll make it look so that it will be a little raised like this right here, right? So we'll do dot raised, and here what we can do is to make sure it's raised, we'll just do border top, right? So we'll just use the border top. We'll do 2 pixels solid white. I'm just gonna copy paste this, right? So the second one will be border left. So it will be 2 pixel, same on there. Next thing we can do is do border right. And this time it will be 7, 7B, 7B, 7B. Now it will copy this and paste that there and change this to bottom. So that is for the thing. So next thing what you have to do is use for sunken. So we'll also make it look sunken in some areas. So we'll do raised and sunken, right? Now for this, we can just opposite. We can just make it opposite, right? Just like this. So this is the area that we'll be using, or we'll be using it through JavaScript. So it should be fine. Right, I hope you guys, until now, if you guys are enjoying it, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, right? So the next thing that we have to do is to start making or start styling the normal containers, all of this, right? The first thing we have is the game card, which is the entire container. So let's go ahead and do this. So we'll just do dot game card, and we'll just do background color and just do C0, C0, C0. So that will be a grayish color. Next thing what we have is padding. Oops. Next thing what we have is padding. So we'll do padding 8 pixels all over, right? And next is display inline block. So next thing what we have is status bar. So we'll just do status bar. We'll do display, set that to flex. And here we'll do align items, set that to center. Make sure everything is at the center. And here what we have is justify content. We'll just do space between. So we'll just do space between, just like that. Next thing we have is background color. So we'll just use background color, set that to the same thing here. There we go. Next thing we have is padding. So padding will be 6 pixels. Also do margin bottom 8 pixels, right? So that is it for the status bar. So that is how it will look. Now, that was for the container. We have to style for individual elements. So that is 2 buttons right here and two containers, right? Giving mine count and timer and the restart button. So I'm just going to do that. So the first one is the LCD counter here, right? So the first thing that we need to do is give out that. So we'll just use that. So we'll just do LCD counter, and here we'll just do, oops, we'll just use background color, we'll make it black, right? And then, give me a second, guys. Um, hmm. Hold up. So here, what we can do is inside the div, right? Inside of Spar, I want to give it class of sunken that we have used. So it will look something like this. And also inside the class, I also want to do raised, right? Just applying all of that. And the next thing that we have to do is also give the restart button the class of sunken as well. Not sunken, raised. So we'll just do raised, right? And the LCD, give it a class of LCD counter. So I also need to give the same LCD counter to the mine count as well. So we'll just do class LCD counter and mine count. Not mine count, sunken. Sunken. There we go. So the same for the board frame. We can just apply that. So do sunken. Right? And that is pretty much it. So moving on to the LCD counter right here, we'll make the background color to be that color. We can use FF0000, which is the red color. Also do font family, set that to set that to be Courier New. And here, the second will be monospace. The next thing that we have to do is take the font weight. So the font weight will be a little darker, so we'll just make it bold. We'll also give, we also need to give padding. So we'll do padding about 3 pixels, 3 pixels on the top and bottom. We'll just do 6 pixels side to side. There we go. Next is minimum width. So minimum width will be 54 pixels. And there you have it. Also put the letter spacing. It's very close to each other. So we'll do letter spacing, set that to 3 pixels. There we go. And the last, I think, font size, we can increase the font size a little bit. So we'll do 22 pixels of font size. And that is for LCD counter. So next thing we have is the button. So let's call the restart button here. And we can just do background color. We can set the background color to be C0, C0, C0. And here we can give the width of this to be around 56 pixels, not PC pixels. There we go. And same for the button. So since we want it to be a square, we can just do height of 56. We can do font size of about 30 pixels. And we can just do cursor set to pointer. We can do display flex. And here we can just do align items, set that to center as well. Right, also do justify content center. and also do padding 0. Padding 0. Now, I have the same concept for the things. I can probably copy paste the same one. So I'll just copy paste this one. Because I also want it to be raised, right? So we can do the same here. So instead of 2 pixels, though, I will just make it 3 pixels. There we go. So I'm also going to make sure I save. Why not, right? So after doing all of that, the last thing we can do is set the box shadow. So box shadow, will be 2 of them. So it will be inset 1 pixel, 1 pixel. So if you didn't know what inset does, inset is a parameter you can give to box shadow, where like instead of putting box shadow outside the box, it puts inside the box. As you can see, I'm doing it, right? Do 0. I have to give the colors. Color will be df, 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 a little bit whitish. And I'm going to use comma here and 2 pixel, 2 pixel, and 4 pixel RGBA. Just do 0, 0. Siam, welcome to the stream again. Love your videos. Thank you, man. I love you, man. I love you too. So we'll just do 0.3 here. So kind of looks like a button now, doesn't it? Now we have to add a active button, so kind of make it look nice, I guess. That's a lot of CSS, but it's fine. We are making Windows 95 vibe here, so right? We're kind of giving that, so it almost looks almost similar, right? To like the, you know, if you guys remember the Windows 95 Minesweeper, yeah, it is basically that. I'm kind of going for that vibe right now, right? So to make sure that when I click the button, it kind of has that pop to it. So we can use the active property or CSS pseudo property, what do you want to call it? I'm going to do active here. Now to basically make this, so what I'm thinking right here is change the box shadow and the border that I have. So one thing that I'm coming right here, instead of what I can do is I can just copy the sunken. Right now it's raised. So when I want to click the button, I want it to be pushed. I want it to look pushed, right? Now, if I click it, now already does, but I also want to change the box shadow of this. So to give that, I can actually copy paste this right here, just like that. I can change the color to be this one, right? I'm going to change the alpha value to 0.4. Now, if I save it, you don't have to save it, but I'm just doing it in case I just accidentally refresh and all of the code I've written is boom, just like that, it's gone. Let's hope that doesn't happen, right? There we go. Now when I keep clicking it, when I hold left click, right, it kind of seems it's pressed, right? So that is the thing. So after that, we have to create the board frame. So we'll do board frame, and here we can just do, we'll not do too fancy here, so we'll do background color. We're gonna set it to our grayish color and set the padding to be 6 pixels. So this is the board frame. It's not the actual board, right? And next is the board, right? So we'll do board, display grid. And here we'll make the background color. So make the background color to be 7B, 7B, 7B. So it is for the individual board, right? We'll do gap 1 pixel. So this right here is the container that holds the board. This was the board frame. Yeah, let's not do that. Very well. This is the board. So next thing that we have is individual cells. So inside the cell, there will be a lot of, and inside the board, there will be a lot of cells, right? It will basically be grid. Moving on to that. So what we can do for that, is, let's call the cell first. So here we'll do width, individual width of the cell will be around 26 pixels. Same goes for height because I want it to be perfect square, right? So it will have the same width and height. Background color, for the background color, I can set it to be our normal gray that we have. And font family, because we have to append numbers into them, right? We also need a font family. So I have chosen uh, Tahoma as my thing because it was the closest one that the Minesweeper, it was the closest one to that like Windows 95 Minesweeper, although the actual font in the Windows 95 Minesweeper was a little bit thick. I couldn't find it. I don't know why, but I was gonna use Minecraft fonts actually, but I thought, you know what, it's fine. Font size also give 15 pixels, right? Next thing what we have is the cursor set to pointer. Next thing we have is display flex and do align items center. Also do justify content, set that to center, and also do user select and just do none, right? And padding 0. Next, what we have here is just do dot cell dot revealed. So how it will work is we have another class associated with it, which is not mine hint, right? So we'll do that. And here we'll have a different font. We'll do font family and set that to V3 to D2. So for that, I need that Google font. So I'm just gonna copy the Google font link here. I'm gonna go to my HTML, go to my head tag. I'm gonna paste that right here. So this will basically allow me to use that font that I just used, right? The VT2323. So this one right here. So the next thing that we have to do in the cell reveal is actually I need to put a fallback font, also do font size, set that to 22 pixels, right? There we go. So next thing that we can do is make the cell reveal. So when you append a revealed class, what we'll do is set the border to be 1 pixel solid 7B, 7B, 7B. Also set the background color to be C0, 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 and cursor, we'll just set it to default. Next is the cell mine hit. So what if the mine hits the cell? Here, we can just give a background color of FF0000. Now, what we can do is I'm gonna give, you know how in Minesweeper you have different colors for different numbers? We also have to make that, right? Now to do that, what I can do is I can hard code that into CSS. We'll do num1, right? So num1 will have color of 0000FE, right? So I have all of the number from 1 to 8 with me. So I'm just gonna copy it because typing this is kind of tedious, right? Right here. So I'm just gonna do Shift Tab to make it come forward. So we are using, for num2, we are using 007B00 for color, all of this color, right? So you can just get the code on the description if you want to check it out which code which color that I used, right? So lastly is the message. That was it for the thing. So we have message. So for message, I'm just gonna put the font size to be 13 pixel, decreasing the pixel size. And also use font weight to be bold. And we can do min height, set that to around 20 pixels. Also do margin, set that to around 8 pixels, 0 and 0. And do color, set that to black. There we go. Now next for the hint, and that is the last thing that we need to do. Let's do hint, and here what we can do is just do margin top to be around 6 pixels. So here what we can do is do 6 pixel. Do font size 11 pixel. Also do color, set that to gray. So there we go. That is all of the CSS that we need to do. Come back here, we have all of this. I'm double checking if I didn't mess up any ID count to make sure that, because sometimes I mess up the thing, and yeah, when I call it through JavaScript, guess what happens? It doesn't go, right? So yeah, I think it should be fine. Yeah, so and there we go. So let's go ahead and start using our main, like the actual thing of the thing here. So I seem to have messed up somewhere. Let's do a quick little save. Mhm. Okay. Just gonna refresh again. I hope I am not encountering. Okay, so hold up. I'm gonna open my library from again. So we can just go to my library, projects, and click right here, right? There we go. I'm gonna open this. Here what we can do is I think I messed up somewhere here. Okay, so why does it look like that? That's weird. It's fine. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I think we should be done. So let's start with JavaScript in case there's something. And yeah. For starting off the JavaScript, what we have to do is first create all of our variables. So we'll do const, we'll make rows variable that will store rows of 9. Also do const pulls and do that also a 9. And we'll do mine count, all right? So mine count will be 10. Yep. So next thing that we need to do is the thing. So we'll do board that, right? let game over equals to false. So board will be an array, right? 2D array of, so it will be 2D array, two-dimensional array with row and column. And we have a game over object. Next thing we can do is do first click equals to true. So this is basically to make sure you never lose on your first click. So this is if the user just clicked in the first click and dies, this variable basically will will basically use it to make sure it's we know that it is the first click, and after a user clicks the first click, we'll make it false. Right. Next is flag count. So we'll do flag count 0 to know how many flags that user has put in it, and revealed count to see the number of revealed count, right? Next is the timer interval. So we'll do timer interval. So where do you start this? Right, this will be the timer, right? It will start the timer like that. So this will be timer interval. So initially it'll be null because its timer hasn't started yet. So we'll do second elapsed. We'll just put it to 0 for now. Also do let clicked mine shell equals to be null. So that is all of the game variables. Now we can put all of the DOM elements. So we'll do board L equals to document dot get element by ID. Right, we'll get board here. We'll just copy there we go. So we'll basically name this message L. We'll get the message and also get the restart. We can just name this restart button and copy this, paste that there. We can next is the mine count element and copy that, paste that there. Board L has been already declared. Makes sense. I'm saying if there are any errors that I've made, right? We'll just do timer, and there we go. So that is all the element that we need to get, right? Now I'm seeing if I messed up somewhere. Yeah, okay, I should be fine then. Why is there no gap in between the, okay, let's quickly debug this. So we have status bar, right? You have status bar, so display flex one item center, just content space between, justify content. So I just do that. Give me a second. So inline block. Okay, that's fine. Padding is also, that's also fine. Is there any, did I make any mistake here? Doesn't seem like it. Yep. Line item center. justify content. So this is not working at all. It's interesting to see that. Is it because it doesn't have a fixed size? What I can do in game card is, can I give it a width? I'll give a width of 100%. So this working. I guess it doesn't have a fixed size, I would say. So I can give it a fixed size of 400. Let's say 250 pixels, right? A little more, I guess. 300. And 280 pixels. Yeah, that should be fine. Okay, I hope this works. It's fine if it doesn't, but yeah, for now, to make it look nice. Okay, so one thing that we have after this, so the first thing is the function that creates a board. We'll do function create board equals to that, so we'll get the board for let row equals to 0. Row is less than the rows, right? And rows, row plus plus. So we're looping it. So we're looping through the we're looping through 0 to the 0 through n rows, which will total number of rows. Now we have 9 by 9, so it will be kind of a 9 times 9. Here, what we can do is basically do const row array. Okay, there we go. So this will be the thing that will be responsible for holding the value of rows, right? So all of this will be rows. We'll do for, we can use another loop. For let call equals equals to 0, and calls is less than calls, and we'll do call plus plus. And now we'll do row array dot push. Now there will be a couple of variables inside the thing. Each will have this. So initially the mines will be false, right? Is revealed if it's the actual row, the actual cell is revealed or not, will be false, right? All of this will be false basically. Is flagged will be false. So either a cell can have a mine, can be revealed to have a number, right? And is flagged, right? So these are the parameters. And last, we have adjacent mines. So adjacent mines basically is the 3 by 3, 8 neighbors. So 3 by 3, 8 neighboring neighbors, 8 neighboring cell neighbors of that. So we'll just do 0. So we'll be making another thing after this, right? So after this, we can just do board dot push, board dot push. We can just do a row array. Now we can just do that, and at last I can just check if it's working. So we'll do console.log. We'll log the board. Let's call the function here. As you can see, it looks something like this, right? So if I just do Control-Shift-I, what I'm going to do is save that. And there we go. That's all everything that we need. So if I just refresh, it should be right there. There we go. So we have all of that. There we go. Now, next thing that we can do is we can have that function. So next thing we can do, so next function we have to create is place mines. So we'll do function place mines. Messed up the spelling of function in the first try. That's not great. So we'll do function place mines, and here we'll do let mines placed equals to 0. We'll do while mines placed is less than the mine count. Oops. Mine, we have mine count. So in total, there will be 10 mines that we can place. So it'll be placed randomly throughout the grid. So we'll loop until mine placed is right now 0, initially 0. Will be until we run out of mines, right? So we need to have a random coordinate to place the row every time we iterate through the loop. So the row equals to math.floor. Now, if we need to start by random, of course. Now, this will generate a random number from 0 to 1. We will multiply this by rows to scale that value to our rows values. And then we can just do math.floor to round off that value, right? Now we'll do the same for this. So this will be a call, and this will be calls, right? So we have gotten the coordinates. The next thing is we have to check if the cell is safe to place or not. Sometimes you don't want to overlap. Let's say there is a possibility that this in the random chances that we occur a place where it's already like the mine has been already placed, right? To check that, we can do a safe cell. We can check if a safe cell. Oh my god, right? So it's basically we'll check if it is safe to place. We have to now we'll check it. Now we'll check it by doing this, right? Here, we can do a check if row is equals to safe row and call equal to safe call. So we have that. So we don't have these values, so this will get passed through the function as a parameter. There we go. Now we can just do is if board row times call is mine, right? We'll check if that's a thing. Here we can and is safe cell. There we go. So if it is, we can just do board row times call dot is mine equals to true. Right, so is mine is a variable here. There we go. right? So we're checking here if the current board is already, does it have a mine already? And here we can, and it is a safe cell, then we can just basically do that, right? So next is mines placed plus plus. And after that, we can just do, we can call the calculate adjacent mines function here. Now we have to create this function, calculate adjacent mines. Now to create this will be very interesting. So we'll do for, we need to iterate through the entire grid first. We'll do let rows, not rows, row equals to 0 and row is less than rows and row plus plus. I hope I'm not doing. So we are expected, we are apparently expected to have somewhere here. So in JavaScript, so here, here, here. Okay. I'm just gonna save it. If the thing persists, I'm also going to do that. So let's save that, come here. Okay, I don't have any errors, that's fine. So it was probably an error before that. Or it was probably of this. Because I haven't placed, oh, okay, that makes sense. There we go. There we go. I was just confused for a second. We'll do for let col equals to 0, col is less than equals, and col plus plus, right? So we'll do if board is the given cell, right, is mined. So if it is, just continue, right? Because if it is mined, it's kind of doesn't make sense to calculate adjacent mines because it's already mined, right? Makes sense. Now here, what we have to do next is let the count of the thing. So we'll do count equals to 0. We will check if, so this will go through, this will go let row equals, not row, actually row variable is already used. I can, so not use, it's a local variable, but I don't want to make it confusing, so I'm just not going to use it. We'll use R for this, why not? So -1, so it will go from -1 to exactly to 1, right? We'll do R plus plus. The reason why we do this is we are trying to find the 8, like, like 8 nearest neighbors to see for adjacent mines, right? So for let C equals the same. So we'll go from -1, we'll go from -1 to 1 and just do C++, not the actual language. I was talking about increment, right? We'll do const neighbor row equals, or we'll use this one. So neighbor row equals row plus R. So we are scaling that, right? And we will do the same for column or neighboring columns. So here we'll just do col Let's see, and we'll check if is inside board. We haven't made these function yet. We will do it later. Neighbor row, we'll check if it inside neighbor row. And neighbor column is inside the board. And we'll check if board neighbor row and neighbor column is mine. So if it is, we can do count plus plus. So after this, what we can do is set board row and column dot adjacent mines equals to count. Right, and there we go. So that is all. That is how you calculate adjacent mines. There we go. The next thing that we have to do is we have to make a small function for this is inside the board. So I'm just gonna do that. We'll make a function that will be named is inside board. So this is a very simple function. It will basically take row and column, right? So here it will take row and column. Let me connect my mouse again. We'll take row and column and check if the given thing is mined or not. Very simple. Let's do this. So for do that, I'm just gonna do straight up return row is greater than equal to 0, right? 0 and rows. So hold up. Give me a second, guys. Okay. So we have rows and you can do column is greater than equals to 0 and close is less than close. So this is the function. So this is 1 and this is 2, right? Next we have to create is the reveal shell, right? And after that we have a couple of functions. We have a lot of functions actually. We are about halfway done, I would say. We are about halfway done, I'm not sure. Halfway done through the project, right? Till now, I don't think we have any function. And we will get a lot of function to check. So we'll just call calculate adjacent mines. So we'll do calculate adjacent mines here. See if any errors. Undefined reading 0, which makes sense, right? So next thing that we have to do is to create the reveal shell function. So this will basically calculate the revealing shell. So we'll do reveal shell. So this will get through the row and column, and this will do this will check if this will be a recursive function that will check if the shell has 0 adjacent mines, and it would automatically reveal all of its neighbors, right? So for that we have to check if the given row and column passed, or given cell passed through that function is inside the board. So we have made a handy dandy function for that, so we can just pass the row call, and if that returns false, we can just straight up return from this function. Now next thing we have is cell, so we do cell equals to board, row, and column. As I said, this will be a recursive function. The next thing we have to put all of the base case, right? So we'll do shell dot is revealed, or shell is flagged. So these two things. So if it is, just return from this function as well. Now we can do shell dot is revealed equals to true. We can reveal that. Now we can give the revealed count plus plus, right? As I said, this will basically be our function. So we have to make a recursive function. So check if cell dot adjacent mines is equals to 0, or cell dot is mine. So this basically will check if the adjacent mine of that cell is equals to 0. It doesn't have any adjacent mines, and shell dot is mine, right? Shell dot is mine is the cell in itself isn't mine. We'll make sure if it is not a mine. And I will loop through all of that. So we'll get let r equals to, we'll loop at -1. So we'll do the same concept as we did from there. It will be -1 to 1. The reason why we do that is we want the 8 layers. So if we do here, right, each mine will have the thing. So we'll just, if we go to a Skelly draw, right, we want the 9 nearest neighbors. So here we will have like 9 nearest neighbors. So let's say this is the cell. We want the nearest 9 neighbors of that cell, right? So it'll be -1, right? And 0. So we'll do -1 plus -1. So it'll basically be something like this, 9 by 9 grid, right? So the way that it is designed here is we want the nearest neighbors, and that is what it does. Okay, so I'm just gonna explain it in a bit, right? So here, come back. Where is it? There we go. And yes, okay, so we can just go through that. My thing is not working. Give me a second. It's fine. Okay. Okay, so to get from all the way to 1, right, we need that, right? So in this, we have, this will be the -1, this will be 1, and this will be 0, and this will be 1, right? Same goes for this, and the column here will be 0 and 1. So this here, right here will be, right here will be -1 plus -1. This will be 0, 1, right? That will be, sorry, it will be -1, 0, and it will be 1, -1, right? Or -1, 1, sorry. Something like that, right? So we'll get all of the nearest neighbors and we'll check if the nearest neighbors are just in mine. So we're doing the same here, right? So we'll go to -1, and here we'll just do r is less than 1, sorry, right? We'll go to 1, right? And we have to make sure that we go exactly less than or equal to that, and do r plus plus. We'll check in the column 2, so we'll do for c equals to -1, and we'll do c is less than or equals to 1, and do c plus plus. And here we'll check if r is equals to 0 or c is equals to 0, right? If it is, then we'll just continue. Otherwise, we can just do reveal shell. We'll do row plus r. We'll do col plus c. So that is all of our function for that, right? So that is a reveal shell function. Next function they have to make is the toggle flag. So this will basically be a really simple function, right? So we'll create the function toggle flag. We'll get the row and col that we want to flag. And we'll just do const shell equals. We will get the board. We'll get the cell for that, and we'll check if shell dot. It will only need to check if it's revealed. If it is, then return. Otherwise, we can do shell dot is flagged equals whatever that is, cell dot is flagged. So we're just you're just using the not operator to flip the bit, right? Now flag count, we can append that to shell dot is flagged. If it is, then we can just up by 1. Otherwise, we can just do -1. Now the way that we are doing this is we have to make it so that flag is also unflagged, right? When you click right click, we have to basically switch if we have just basically switch this Boolean value. That's why we're using not. And we'll basically, now for the flag count, if a user flags a cell, that is +1 for flag count. If user decides to unflag it, if that's a word, right, we also have to decrease it by -1. So that is what it's done. So if this is triggered, right, depending on what the user did, we can just check if that is working. So we can just do that. Now next, I'm gonna use the update mine counter. Now we haven't made this function yet, right? We will do it right after this. So that is it for toggle flag function. Next function that we have to create is update mine counter. Oops. Here what we can do is just do const remaining equals to mine count minus flag count, right? That is the thing. So we have our mine count minus flag count in it in case. So that's the remaining thing. So here we can just do mine count element dot text content equals to string. We'll paid all the remaining dot pad start 3, 0. Right, so that is what we're doing here. Next thing we have to do is to see, we have to make a function to check if the user won the game. So that is it. So it's basically very simple. If mine if there are no mine count, or like the mine count is exactly equal to the total saved cells, that is basically user has one. We'll do const total save shell equals to our rows times whole, so that is the entire thing, minus the mine count. So here we can just do return reveal count. So all of the cells that have been revealed is equal to the total saved cells. That means the game has been over and user has won, right? So that is it. So next thing that we need to do is we have to create a function that handles the user click, right? So we'll make a function for now, unexpected. We'll do function handle cell click, and we'll just do roll call. So we need to get that. Now we have to check if the game is over, right? So we'll basically check if the game is over. Now the thing here is we'll make this value. So we have made a value here, I believe, which is game over, right? We have to check if this is true right now, right? Game over. So what we'll do is we'll just do if game over, we can just do return. That makes sense, right? And we'll do const shell equals to board row and column. So we're getting the shell. We got the row and column coordinates. Now we have to get the actual shell. Now we can get that by you passing the row and column to the board array, right? So do if cell is flagged and shell dot is revealed, return, and if first click, right? So first click is also true. So not true in a sense that it is true for the first click, right? We can do place mines row and column. We'll do first click, set that to false, and start, just do start timer function. So this is a function that we'll be making later. This is for the first click. Now we'll check if shell is mine. So if it's mine, we'll just do shell dot revealed equals to true, and clicked mine shell equals to shell, moves to end game, and set that to false and return, right? If the given shell that was clicked is a mine. Otherwise, we can just do, revealed. You can call reveal shell, row and column. We can send the row and column, right? And next, we will check last if the user has won. We have to check this on every click. So we made the checkpoint function here. So we'll do end game true. And at last, we'll call the render function. So render function we'll be making later, which will render all of the boards. So we'll do function here, handle shell click, but in this case we'll do right click. So this is for making the given shell a flag. So we have to pass event row and column. Right, after this we can just do event dot prevent default to make sure the site does not reload, because every click you do does trigger a event, right, which has some default events. So we have to remove that, and we can do return. If we do return in a sense that if the game is over, there is no kind of point in playing, right? So there we go. We'll do toggle flag, and we'll just pass the row and column. And here we'll just do render. There we go. Now we have to create the function for endgame. So let's just quickly go ahead and do that. So we'll make function endgame. We can check 1. We can check if the user has 1 or not. So we'll just do endgame, pass 1. And we'll set the game over to true. Clear interval. Clear interval. So the timer that we have, right, we have to clear the time for that. So since it will be a set timeout function, we have to clear that set timeout. We can just do timer interval. We can clear interval just like that. Next, we can do if the user has 1, right? If the user has 1, we can do message element dot text content. We can just set it to be you cleared the field, right? And the restart button, I'm going to add a small thing here. So in text content of the restart button, we can just copy. I'm going to copy a emoji, right? So I'm just going to copy and paste it. So this will be the emoji that will if the user won. Now else what if user has not won, right? I can just copy this, copy that, paste that here, and inside this I can just create boom, game over. And we can just put this, right? And that is pretty much it. Now, after this, what we have to do is get all of the row and column. If the user lost, right? We have to reveal it. So we'll do for let row equals to 0, row is less than rows, and row plus plus. For let col equals 0, col is less than cols, and col plus plus plus. We'll check if board here, right? We'll check if board is mine. So we want to reveal all of the mine, right? And we'll just do that is revealed equals to true. And yeah, there we go. So after all of that, right, we can just call the render function. And yeah, now next function that I have to create is the function to start the timer. Very, very simple. We can just do second elapsed. We can set that to 0 initially. We'll do timer. We need the timer element dot text content equals to string. second elapsed, right? And dot add start, we can do 0 from 0. There we go. So this will basically add 0 to in front of it. Here, now we need to do that every second. So we'll do timer interval. We have to set that. Timer interval equals to set interval and inside this we have to pass a function which will get called every time it specifies. So this will be called every 1000 seconds, not 1000 seconds, 1000 milliseconds, which will be 1 second. We'll do second elapsed, and then we'll do timer element dot text content equals to do the same thing here, right? So here we have second elapsed. And yeah, that is pretty much it for the thing. So last two functions that we have to create. The first one is the render function. So all of the things that we're doing with the render function here. So we'll do function render. So this is a really long function so pay attention. First we need to get is the board element, and we'll do inner HTML. We'll set that to empty. So next is board element dot style dot grid template columns equals to repeat. So this is the value that you can give in the grid template columns CSS property. That's why I've done get the element, get the style property. Which style property? Grid template columns, right? And we can basically set this to be repeat this to calls, right? And then we can just do 26 pixels, right? That is pretty much it. Okay, so I want to check if the error was gone. So it's just gonna want to make sure if I didn't forget anything. Doesn't seem like I forgot anything. Okay. Just do one Minesweeper 1. Okay, so that is weird. Let's go to the project. And there we go. See, okay, so somewhere here I have so let's just check where, right? Okay, I don't know why it is doing that. I don't think there is probably here. Okay, let's just comment this part out and see. Okay, this somewhere around here is a token. So yeah, okay, I already see it. So it goes here. This also works. This also works. This also works. This also works. I don't know why there is a thing here. So there we go. Okay, so next thing we have to do is get that. So we'll do for let row equals to 0, and we'll do row less than rows, row plus plus. Next thing we have to do is same for col. So less col equals to 0, col is less than cols, and col plus plus, iterating through all of the columns. And now we can just do const cell equals board row, board col, const cell element equals to document dot create element. We'll be creating buttons. Each shell will be a button, right? And we'll give the shell element a class name of shell. Right, so next thing we have to check if shell is revealed. If it is, then we'll just do shell element dot class list. They can do dot add. So we're adding revealed class to the shell, right? So I hope I typed it correctly. So revealed there we go. I want to absolutely make sure that I didn't mess up the spelling. So now inside this we'll just do shell dot is mine. Shell dot is mine. We can just put if game over. We can do shell. We can just do clicked menu shell. And we can just do shell element dot class list dot add. We can just add mine hit. Now after that, we can just do shell element dot text content. Now we need a bomb emoji. So let's just search a bomb emoji. There we go. And there we go. Now we have to put else if. Now next is shell dot adjacent mines is greater than 0. If it is, we can just do shell element dot text content. We can just put that to adjacent mines. Shell element dot class list dot add, do num. So remember, we basically made the number of values here. So we just basically dynamically updating the value. So we have num hyphen, right? We'll do plus shell dot adjacent mines. There we go. Right? So we'll do if Now here we'll just do else into shell element dot class list dot add. We'll do raised. And I will check again if shell is flagged. If it is, if it if it is, then we can just do shell element dot text content equals to, we need a flag emoji, so we'll just do flag emoji. I need this one. There we go. I copied this. Boom. Right. And after that, we should be fine. So it's giving me an error. So we'll see where the error is. So unexpected token catch. All right. So we have this, right? So we have a syntax error here somewhere. So we'll just put down here else if shellman.text. Yeah, that seems to be fine. We'll do lesson.add num adjacent mines, seems to be fine. So let's check if it's coming from render. Oh. Oh, okay. I just forgot one curly bracket. It's fine. Sometimes it happens. Now, the rest of the content that we have here is after the else. So we have that. So after this, we have to do shell element dot add event listener. We will listen to a click and we'll trigger a function. So this will basically just handle shell click. We'll just call and we'll just get the row and column. Next thing we have is we have to add, so context menu. So left click is basically refers to left click. So if you want the right click, we can just use the context menu. Since right click usually opens the context menu, that's why it's called context menu. So function, we can pass the handle right click function. And after that, at last we can do board element dot append child. We can append shell element. And that is pretty much it. That is a really long function. Now, last function that we have to create is new game. So let's quickly go ahead and create this. So this function will basically make new games. So now this will basically switch out all of the things. I'm just going to copy paste actually. This is very, very simple function here. So I'm going to explain what it does, right? We have a timer, so we'll create the timer, create a new board, set the game overs to false because we just starting a new game, put the first click to true, flag to 0, reveal count to 0. Basically, put the default value. Mine count text content will put the same thing here, which is 0. And then timers, set the timer to 0, message to nothing, and restart button to whatever the default value is, and render the board, right? Here we can just do, so last we can just set a restart button. So if you click on the restart button, it should restart the button. So we'll basically set this. So if you click on the button, which is this right here, right? We'll make it, so we'll just call this function. So we'll just do new game. After all of that, we can just do new game, and there we go. So here it is undefined, it's reading, not read the properties, reading set to 0. So let's check what is the issue here. Okay. I click on the wrong thing here. Calculated mines, properties reading. So calculated mines on number 81. So no source. What is happening here? Okay. Hold up. So we'll check if what's the issue. So you got a new subscriber. Please continue to interesting series. Thank you, man. Thank you. Right now we are in the debugging situation here. I messed up some. I already see that I messed up in UI, but I need to see what is wrong here. So here, I think what I did wrong. So if I just do fly count, so it's saying that its value typer cannot read properties of undefined, reading set to 0. Okay. So I'm going through the code here. This seems to be fine. Okay, we'll go through the things. Okay, let's see the easiest one. If I missed somewhere here. So we have upper bound. Oh, okay, that's interesting. So the rows, I forgot row here. So row is less than rows, right? And so this does work. So that's actually working. The reason for that is the shell is the styling is not working. So let's just quickly go ahead and try that. So where is the shell? So I've set the value of the width to be width height 30 pixels. So we do have put this to that. Why is it not working? Is it because of the board? Board frame, board should be nice. So we can just, how about we just do minimum width, set that to height, minimum height, set that to this. That still doesn't work. Probably because it doesn't have the button element to it. Okay. Okay, so I want to see if, okay, right click does not work. So context menu, there is something wrong with context menu. Okay, I know what is wrong. I forgot to pass in the event. So we'll do event, pass that event here, right? Hour is second image, so that's fine. So yeah, okay, there is something to grid template columns. Ah, oh shit. Oh, hold up. So we'll do that. Okay, I messed up somewhere in CSS here. I want to see what is the issue. I want the individual cell to be that. Okay, so it's not revealing the adjustments. So I think I also did something in adjacent mines. How is already, this is already 10, but okay, so at least that works. Like the styling is working, so I have to figure out why the property for that not working. Have I not made this board a grid? So we'll do board, give the ID a board. Got the board as board frame. And see if other things work. So these are things are working. And this, I'm guessing this is a, oops, okay. All right. And yeah, that should be it. I want to still want to see what is wrong with the CSS here. Let's force it. If I just do minimum height is 26 pixels. Uh-huh. So give me a second, guys. Minimum color. Grid, board frame. It's shell and ID. Wait, we passed the shell. If I do shell, will be dot class shell element, right? You can find it. V1 creating the board, right? The first click, render, start timer, render. So, oh, okay, class name is shell. So, the reason why it was not working is because this. And yeah, that is pretty much it. Okay, guys, so I'm just gonna publish this as code in Minesweeper. write code in Minesweeper, publish to this domain. And what I'm going to do is copy this link and send it in chat later. If I go here, this is the Minesweeper game right here. Let me zoom in. So this is the Minesweeper game that we made. It is fully functional, even though I'm kind of not good at these games. But yeah, that is Minesweeper. I hope you liked this stream. If you did, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys in another stream with another project. Till then, bye-bye.